Et salut tout le monde, aujourd'hui je reçois Martin de Maple ou plutôt Syrup. How are you, Martin?
Yes, doing great. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm very happy to have you today. I got a lot of questions for you, but first, can you introduce yourself, what you've done in the past and what brings you to Maple?
For sure. Yeah, so I'm Martin, head of growth at Maple. So I'm responsible for sort of the capital inflows, making sure the TVL keeps going up. I've joined crypto in 2015, got into Bitcoin, actually Ethereum into 2017, DeFi 2020. So I've been in the industry a long time, and really excited now to be at Maple and growing the largest asset manager on chain.
All right. Just to be clear, how should we call for this interview Maple? Should we call it Maple or Syrup? What do you prefer?
Yes, yeah. So it's best to call it Maple. So Maple is sort of like the mother brand, right? And like where it all started. And Syrup, you can see Syrup as like the DeFi arm of Maple, the Syrup Fi. And then we got the Syrup token, which is sort of like uniting the whole ecosystem. So it's the Syrup token governs Maple, the ecosystem.
Okay. I think Maple got like 4 years of existence right now.
Yes.
Can you get back about how it was born? How was the bear market? Just big events from Apple.
For sure. Yeah. So we started indeed in 2021, raised capital. And the idea back then is so you had the sort of old school DeFi protocols at that stage. So you had Aave, Compound, and all the other ones, and they were all over collateralized lending, right? So you could take out a loan, deposit ETH or other collateral. And we thought it was all very automated. And we thought, what if we combine that with sort of institutional underwriting and underwriting the borrowers, and we can actually structure the loans and we can do uncollateralized as well. So we did that last cycle. And we didn't just do it ourselves. We had the idea of doing a Shopify model where other people could come to the platform and open a credit business on chain. Now, that worked really well last cycle. So we almost scaled to $1 billion in TVL. And we really got a large brand name. Everybody knew we existed. But then it didn't work as well during the bear market. We had a couple, about like 3% of the platform in total in that year, got into default. And those were pools managed by other parties, right? So we made 2 critical changes and set ourselves up for success. So the first one is that we now manage everything internally. So we got Maple, the Maple team. We have underwriters that are internally reviewing the borrowers, underwriting the loans, managing, the pools. So that's not change number 1. Change number 2 is that we really focus now on over collateralized lending as well. So we take in collateral and issue loans against it. So if a borrower cannot repay the loan, we always have the collateral to liquidate and protect lenders in that way. So the products have become a lot better for lenders. We manage them internally, really controlling our own destiny. And with that, we are now have the longest public track record of any on-chain asset manager. So, we are about 2 years into that change. And we are now, well over 600 million in TVL and growing very fast.
Okay, so are you still doing under collateralized or just over collateralized right now?
Yeah, it's only over collateralized.
Only. All right. And can you explain simply, just for a beginner, how Maple work, all the steps?
For sure. Yeah, so we really got 2 branches. So we got Maple and then, Syrup Fi. And Maple is focused for institutional allocators. So if you have a fund or if you're a company or, a family office, high net worth individual, Maple is really the place to go. And, you simply come with stable coins, right? If you want to earn yield, you can allocate it into one of the products. So we have different products for different, preferences. So some products are higher yield, other products are, more conservative, only backed by Bitcoin. And we sort of got a range of products available to choose from. And then it's all generated by institutional loans, right? So on the other side, we got borrowers looking for credit. for capital to grow their business, and they will take out loans from the different pools and then provide collateral backing up those deposits. So really, if you're interested in yield, institutional yield, that is conservatively generated, and that is also higher than other places in the market, because we structure the loans, we negotiate the terms, and we negotiate better rates than other places. Maple really is the place to go. Then we also got Syrup, and Syrup basically makes this available in DeFi, so you don't need to go through KYC. It's permissionless. You just connect the wallet, make a deposit. There's no minimums, right? You can start with $100 or $50. It doesn't matter. So Syrup is really for everybody, and SyrupFi makes it available for everybody directly in DeFi.
Okay, and what secure all the system? Because I think you have some pools delegates. How are they hired? Who can be pools delegate? How does it work?
Yes. Yeah. So at this moment, we are the only pool delegates in the system.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's only Maple. We did that so we can really control our own destiny. And the way that it's really protected is that we take in the collateral, right? So for a borrower to take out a loan, let's say they want to take out a $5 million loan, they might have to put up $10 million in Bitcoin collateral, right? So we always have more collateral than that we have loans outstanding. At this stage, I think it's, we're about 150 to 170% over collateralized, showing how conservative the collateral ratio is. And even during today, there's like a bunch of market volatility. We will go out to borrowers and collect additional collateral to protect the loans.
All right. So we are, in a very volatile market. You just saw maybe yesterday or today what happened. And how do you make sure that everything got right? Do you have like liquidation level or something like this?
Yes. Yeah. So when we issue the loan, it's like at the initial level, right? The initial collateral level. Now let's say the collateral drops, in price, we go to the margin call level, and there we'll basically go out to the borrower and we'll ask them to put up additional collateral, right? So we'll go back up to the initial level. Now let's say if they don't put it up and the prices keep falling, we will have a liquidation level, and the liquidation level is, let's say, here, and then the loan value is here, right? So we will make sure that the liquidation level is always significantly above the value of the loan, so that if prices fall, we can liquidate collateral and protect deposits in that way. So it's a very simple mechanism that ensures that the deposits are protected at all times.
Okay, very clear. I go always on RWA XYZ, the website. Very nice website for RWA. They give a default loans to Maple. What are they? How much are they? Is it important? Can you talk about that?
Yes. Yeah. So that was indeed during the last cycle, 2022, when we still had uncollateralized loans in the pools managed by those external pool delegates. So it was managed by other companies because, we're like a Shopify platform, right? Where anybody could start, not anybody, but, people could start a credit business. And back then we had, about 3% of the loans went into default. Now this cycle, and since we manage everything ourselves, we haven't had any defaults. So, at all times we've been protected. We have had 100+ margin calls, right? So like what I was explaining about the collateral, of course, collateral is going to be volatile, right? So we are going to get the margin calls, and that's fine. Like that's the whole reason we have these margin call levels, is so that we can collect additional collateral from those borrowers to, bring the loans back to healthy levels. And, with that mechanism, we also expect to be safe in the future from the volatility, because we have the collateral that really protect the loans.
Okay, I understand now. All right. And by talking about platform, I think there is a difference between the TVL of Maple on Dune and the TVL on DeFi Llama? That's a question a lot of people ask. Why is there this difference, and what could happen?
Yes, that's a great question. So the reason is that with DeFi Llama, they at the moment, like we're working on it, by the way. So we're actually going back and forth, at the moment, and to get it resolved. But basically, at the moment, it only shows the smart contract TVL. That's directly in Maple smart contracts. While in our case, because we take in collateral, a portion of the collateral is also in qualified custody, institutional custody, and because of that, they currently don't count that in the TVL, but it is of course part of the TVL. So we expect that, we hope for that to be resolved pretty soon, and for people for that to be all cleared up.
Okay, all right. And you talk about Syrup permissionless for DeFi. How does it work on Maple, and are you going to bring more DeFi use case integration?
Yes. So that's a great question. So we're actually going to launch something this week, which is really exciting.
Oh.
So a new use case for Syrup USDC. So we are planning to get Syrup USDC to be more liquid, right? And that's then gonna unlock other use cases, like being able to use it as collateral in DeFi, which also has its own use cases. So you can use it on different money markets like Morpho and Silo and places like that. So that's going to be a really big unlock. So yeah, more for that to come. And then ultimately we just want to get Syrup integrated into all the standard places you can imagine in DeFi. So of course the holy grail is to get it accepted on Aave as collateral. So yeah, that is really the North Star of what we're working towards.
Okay. And I got some question about MPL and Syrup, because there was a conversion, and a lot of people are still doesn't really understand. I think you're going to push MPL holder to move to Syrup, right?
Yes. Yeah. So if anyone is still holding MPL, please convert it over into Syrup, because ultimately Syrup is really the place where all the value is going to accrue, and MPL is just going to be phased out. So April 30th will be the last day that you will be able to convert MPL to Syrup.
Okay, all right. And what's if we get back to fundamentals, what is the competitive advantage of Maple in private credit over TradFi private credit?
For sure, great question. So compared to TradFi, we are more transparent and more accessible, more global in nature, right, and more efficient. So in traditional private credit, it's still very sort of like black boxy. So you need to send your capital somewhere, and first of all, it takes a couple of days before it lands, and then you sort of need to trust their reporting and things like that. And that's of course the beauty about our model, is that everything is on chain, so everybody can verify at all times, all the loans, all the collateral, and you don't really need to trust us. You can just verify it yourself, right? So that's the beauty of DeFi and the core advantage. Besides that, it's also just a lot more efficient. So we can accept stablecoins. You can make a deposit. You instantly start accruing yield, right? From the second on you make the deposit. And when you withdraw tomorrow, you're actually going to have that 1 day yield that you earned. Like you're going to have, like you actually earned that yield, right? Like that is not possible in traditional finance. There's a lot longer redemption cycles. The yield will start accruing on a certain date in the future, right? It's that there's a lot of inefficiencies and operational burdens, administrative things that we don't have to deal with. Like it's all automated, it's all on chain, it's all instantly accessible. So it's really those two things, which is the transparency and then the efficiency and the sort of global nature of the product, where anybody in the world can allocate into it. You don't need a US bank account or a European bank account. You just need a wallet.
Okay. And do you think because you rely on smart contracts, you don't need that much of employee?
Yes, yeah, that's a great question indeed. So we need a lot less people in the administrative operations team, let's say. Traditional companies, they need to hire thousands of people to manage all of these transactions, to manage all of the reporting, all of the interest, calculations and things like that. And for us, that's all automated, right? Like it's most of it is fully automated, and all the things that are not automated yet, we will automate over time as well.
Okay. And if you want to expand, are you going to, hire some people? Are you going to bring more delegate pools or things like that?
Yeah. So over time we might. Right now, we're really focused on doing it ourselves and really having Maple manage all the pools. But we are open to other delegates as well. So I think over time, it's indeed it will be a scalable thing to have other delegates and so on. So we're definitely open to it, but we're not heavily focused on it, in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay. And do you have an HQ, a place, a Maple place somewhere?
Yeah, so we had got an office in New York. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yes.
That's very cool. And if we have to compare, Maple to other competitor, Web3 competitor, we don't have to name it, but how do you compare it to other private credit project?
For sure. Great question. So I would say there's sort of two rough categories. Like on one side, you got the on-chain, fully automated DeFi, right? So think like Aave and Compound and Morpho and things like that. And what really differentiates us there is that we actually apply some institutional knowledge and process to the management of the pools. So we underwrite the loans and we structure the deals. And because of that, we have higher yield, right? So if you compare us to sort of that category, like we just have higher yield. We've done the back test, not even like we've done the analysis. We did a report on that, Maple's performance in 2024. And you can see that both our average yield for the year and our minimum yield. So minimum yield is like whatever the minimum yield during the year was at any given point. Was a lot higher. Especially the minimum yield was significantly higher than peers, right? Where things like Athena and Aave fell to like 3-4%. We stayed above 9-10% like at all times. And high yield secured, I think, stayed above like 11%. So yeah, the yield is higher from that perspective, while we have the same protection, right? We have the same collateral protecting the loans. So that's the core differentiator on that side. On the other side, you got all the RWA projects, right? And they sort of give access to real world businesses or treasuries or financing tax receivables or purchase receivables from companies. So that there are like hundreds of different use cases that are being built. And all those things are really cool, right? Like they're amazing projects, a lot of potential. What we do differently is that we really focus on crypto native institutions on the borrowing side, right? So we don't provide loans to a factory in France or a bike company in the Netherlands, or like a lot of these other RWAs are doing, providing credit to the real companies, right, in the real world that have like whatever, all types of different business models, a lot of emerging markets. We don't do that. Like we really focus on crypto native institutions at this moment in time. So that really differentiates us as well. Is because first of all, those institutions have a lot of need for capital. It's more shorter duration, right? So they are not looking for 1-year loans or 5-year loans. It's more 30-day loans, which creates shorter term liquidity. So if you want to get your money out as a lender, it's more liquid, right? Like it's easier to get it out. You don't have to wait as long, which is a big benefit because in crypto, you don't have that much capital that's looking to lock up for a year or two, right? It's very hard to find that. So that's why we have seen so much growth. It's because we are higher yielding than one side of the market, and then we are shorter duration than the other side of the market, right? So combining that high yield and short duration, so short-term liquidity for lenders, that's really the holy grail, and that's really how we've been able to, grow so fast, and that's also what differentiates us.
Okay. I wonder, is this institutional, so crypto native institutional, are they private? Do we have the name, or can you say some names or not at all?
Yeah, so it is all the names you would know, like all the large companies in crypto, like the large exchanges, the large hedge funds, the large prime brokers. It's really like all the familiar names. Like often they don't want us to say their exact name, with the loans, right? Because then all their competitors can also see, okay, what are the credit lines that they have available? What are the collateral assets that they're holding? So it's a lot of competitive information that they prefer not to be known. But yeah, it is really, we work with the largest institutions in the space, and like on the website, we also have a couple names that we have outlined. But let me just.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, here we got like Circle, Block Tower, Flow Traders, Continuum, and a bunch of other names. So
Okay. That's interesting because so you say they don't really like that we see their name. Do you think there is a use case from Apple to use not a private blockchain but a blockchain that hide a bit this transaction for institutional, because some institutional don't like public blockchain.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's possible at some point. I think the current system, also works for them. Like we haven't really heard pushback on the Ethereum blockchain and using that, because it is the safest and the largest and the most well understood. So at this moment, I wouldn't really expect us to go to like a private blockchain.
Okay. And are you going to bring some pools to other blockchain? Do you have ideas like that?
Yes. Yeah. So also Syrup soon is going to go to other chains. So that's coming soon.
You can say the name, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it won't be like the larger names. Obviously we're looking at Solana, Base,
Okay.
Arbitrum, sort of the large names. Those are the ones that we would like to go to. But then it's also, who are the partners we're launching with? Are the chains going to support us? In terms of depositing, for example, into Syrup to get it off to a strong start. So we have a couple of chains that are interested in that. So it's a bit, negotiating some of the commercials, but yeah, we're definitely looking to go to those chains.
Okay. And I've seen the last announcement about collaboration with CoreDAO and the new market with LST BTC. Can you tell us a bit about that, and what are you expecting from that?
Yes. So this is huge news because everybody wants Bitcoin yield, right? There is Bitcoin is the largest asset in crypto, right? I think it's like 60% or something at the moment of all crypto value, right? It's just in Bitcoin, and that includes like stable coins and everything else. It's still the best asset in many ways, right? It's like the most liquid, the most accepted, the most people hold it, the most well known. It has just so many benefits. The core thing though that ETH was always differentiating itself on was the yield, right? Like you could stake it and earn a yield, which you had like a restaking and points on top of it and looping, and like there were so many different use cases for ETH, which made it interesting too. But now we've basically brought out the Bitcoin, so you can now stake your Bitcoin with Core, right? And Core is just think about it as like a layer 2 on Bitcoin. So it's essentially like an Arbitrum or a Base, but then just built on Bitcoin with smart contracts, and people can build applications on it. The core difference though is that it's Bitcoin staking. So in order to participate in the rewards, the staking rewards of Core, you need to stake your Bitcoin, and then you're receiving Core tokens, right, as like staking yield. And this is already live. This is in the market. What we are now doing to this though is that we are becoming the investment manager as Maple. And what that means is that people can now stake directly from their custodian into LST BTC, right? Like we're going to launch that out soon. And what that means is that people don't need to worry about, how to stake their core, how to, what to do with the core tokens, how to, acquire core tokens to dual stake. Like they don't need to worry about any of that, right? Like we abstract away all the complexity. You just, with one click of the button, can take your Bitcoin from custody into LST BTC. And then we will manage everything for you and get you a yield in native Bitcoin. So you actually just, your Bitcoin goes up in value, and there's no slashing risk. The Bitcoin doesn't leave custody, right? So you're not taking any risk with your Bitcoin. There's no like taxable event or anything like that. And you just earn a yield on it. And right now, if you want to keep your Bitcoin in qualified custody, you have to pay for it, right? You pay like 10 or 20 or 30 basis points per year just to have your Bitcoin sit in it and be safe, right? But now you can actually earn on your Bitcoin while it's sitting in qualified custody. So yeah, it's a phenomenal product. We're seeing a lot of demand for it. And just any yield on your Bitcoin is good, right? Especially if it's so safe as this product.
Okay, and are you targeting retail or institutional with that? And how much is the market right now of this particular asset, on Cordero?
Yes, yeah. So I think they have like $1 billion or $2 billion staked already.
Oh, wow.
And part of that now is obviously going to come onto Maple's TVL as well. So we announced the product, like it still needs to be fully rolled out, and the target is really institutions for this. So it's not really retail. It's really institutions who have their assets in qualified custody and want to use this. At some point, we might roll it out in Syrup as well, and have like Syrup BTC or something like that. But like that is not a plan at this stage yet.
Okay, that's a good transition because I want to ask you: are you going to bring some collateral assets, to change a bit? What actually are the collateral assets, and what do you expect could come?
Yes, yeah. So we will look at any collateral asset that has deep liquidity, and that is like of reasonably large size if we see an economic opportunity. So think about XRP, great example. Solana, obviously we accept, but we're happy to look at Avalanche, AVAX. Really just any collateral asset that has like reasonable size, we'll be happy to look at. Of course, it's going to be depending on those levels, right? We're going to structure it in a safe way. So if you come with AVAX, for example, it's not going to have the same margin call and liquidation levels as Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is just a lot safer. So we would take all of these things into account, and really come up with like the best structure.
Okay. And do you think you will bring some new asset this year?
On Syrup as a lending asset?
Yeah.
So you can lend like Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I would expect yes. Like if you had to put it, put a gun to my head, I would say yes.
Okay. All good. And I have seen you bring buyback since January, I think. How does it work, and how much for now it is, this buyback?
Yes. Yeah, so it's 20% of revenues. All the revenues are also the Dune dashboard. So I think it was almost 100K in January, and in February, is to be determined. But yeah, that's really, really powerful, for the Syrup token. Buybacks is a great way, to incentivize stakers, right, who participate in the long-term growth of the ecosystem. So if you have syrup, stake it and participate.
All right. Yeah, I didn't ask you about Drips. Yeah,
Yes.
Drips is the incentivized program, I think, on Syrup. Can you talk a bit about it?
Yes, drips. So indeed, so if you are a syrup user, like you will get drips just by the nature of being a user, and then you will get syrup tokens for it. So the way it works is that there are seasons. Every season is 1 month, right? Very simple. We're currently like in season 8, and then for every season that you participate, you will receive a drips a syrup allocation at the end of the season, and then you can claim it on the 18th the month after. So let's say for this month, right, February, let's say you make a deposit now, then you will receive for the month of February, you will receive your token allocation the first week of March, and then you can claim it on the 18th of March.
Okay, perfect. For full transparency, is Maple already profitable? Do you need inflation for your operation, or is that, or no?
Yes, yeah. So at this moment, we still have some token inflation, which is all public and transparent. So it's like 5% per year for 2 more years. So next year 5%, and then the year after 5%. And that's it. That's all it. And then we have the treasury. So we got a lot of runway, a lot of stable coins. So at this moment in time, like we're in a great place as from a protocol health perspective.
Okay, perfect. So I think if we follow the data, Maple is the best private credit project right now. Why do you think the token Syrup is still undervalued compared to competitors?
Yes. Yeah. So I think we have always done a really good job at growing all of our products, right, and being the best product out there in the market, growing our user base. Historically, we haven't focused as much on the community. So we haven't focused as much on like ambassadors or just growing the community, doing community calls. We've just been so focused on the product, right? Like we have always kept everybody informed, and we've always been transparent, but we haven't done as good of a job of sort of like shepherding the community and really growing the community. So that's something we've really changed now in this quarter, and I think you are already seeing the fruits of that at the moment, right? Like in the last 2-3 weeks, you're starting to see a lot of positive momentum around the Maple ecosystem and the Maple community, and that's what we will do a lot more going forward as well. And like that should obviously have a lot of positive implications for the overall health of the ecosystem.
Okay. Because right now you have the Ambassador program, which I'm part of for full transparency. That's not why we do this interview, because I already sent you, I think 1 month ago, I asked you about the interview. I really want to have Maple, so it's not about that.
Sure.
But can you tell us, so what is the Ambassador program, and do you have something else to bring community together?
Yes. Yeah. So at this stage, it is indeed really the Ambassador program. You can join. So if you're excited to join, you can apply for it and you can join. And then what the Ambassador program is really giveaway for community members to participate in rewards, right? So ambassadors are going to receive syrup token rewards based upon their contributions. So if you make videos, like yourself, or write articles like GLC, or Twitter posts, like both of you, like there's going to be rewards associated to that. And then the goal is really to sort of get people excited about Maple and really spread the word, for the growth of the ecosystem. So it's a way to participate. It's a way to align yourself with, the largest asset manager on chain, and really keep building that trust, and then benefiting from those rewards as well.
Okay. I already asked, if you got, I don't know, some alpha about something coming or something that are you excited about 2025? Just your opinion.
Yes, yeah. So we got a lot of big stuff coming. So the first is a really big announcement with a partner next week. So like a very large crypto, company. Like I cannot say the name yet because it's going to be announced next week. But that's going to be
Okay.
a really really exciting announcement, and like I'm sure everybody's going to be very excited about it. That's number one. Then number two is for Syrup, the liquidity, right? Working on that instant liquidity, and putting puzzle pieces in place for that, which is going to open up all these new exciting DeFi use cases, right? So just expect Syrup to really focus on DeFi and DeFi adoption. And then for Maple, we'll keep launching new exciting products, right? So this LST BTC is going to be a massive product. Like that could be a huge TVL driver for us, right? Like we can have hundreds of millions in TVL just from that product alone this year. And then, we will keep launching those new exciting products and keep growing our existing ones, right? So if there is an interesting product in crypto that involves yield and is for an institutional audience, we're going to launch it under Maple, right? So you can really expect a lot of products to come out. And for all institutions, like this is the place. If I want an on-chain product for yield, I will go to Maple, right? Like that's really the North Star vision.
Okay, perfect. We talk about, I think, a lot of things. I think I don't have more question. Is there something I missed? A subject you want to bring?
Yes, no, I think that's perfect. Yeah, it's really, it can be a lot to wrap your head around, right? As like somebody who just comes to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But just think about Maple as sort of the BlackRock of on-chain, and the BlackRock of the future, right? So we already have the longest track record of an on-chain asset manager, right? So if you have an asset, think Bitcoin or USDC or whatever asset you have, you want to earn some yield on the asset, right? You don't want the asset to just sit there idle in a wallet. You want to earn 5% on Bitcoin. You want to earn 10%, 15%, 20% on stablecoins, right? Maple is the most trusted place to do that for institutions, right? On chain. So anything that falls under that umbrella, we're going to be launching, we're going to be building, we're going to be rolling out. And we already have the largest network of any on-chain asset manager. We know everybody in the space. We speak with all the institutions that are crypto friendly. Some of them have already allocated, some of them are going to allocate. So we have this massive opportunity ahead of us, and we are best positioned, to capture that opportunity. And the key thing that's important is that crypto Twitter is a place of a lot of noise. A lot of people are making very loud noise, and most of those people actually don't have anything tangible, right? They don't have a good product, or they don't have clients or things like that. But we do. We have a lot of clients, and we have great products, and we have a lot of scale and growth. So the important thing is that we get the message out there, right? On Twitter and on LinkedIn and all these other channels, on YouTube. And we get everybody to understand who we are and what the future is, and to participate on the journey. And then all together we can grow with Maple. And then, for the ambassadors in particular, there will be those Syrup token rewards, which is also going to be directly tied to impact of the content, as well as the growth of the ecosystem.
Okay, perfect. I just have one more question, but it's more for you, not for
Yes.
Maple. We usually like to ask if you got any advice, for someone that begin to crypto, that want to be part of it, that doesn't really get everything, just not only about AWA, but everything. If you got advice, that's the perfect moment.
For sure. Yeah, I think that the most important piece of advice I would give is when you're just getting into all of this, like there's a lot of stuff you can learn about. Obviously, the most important thing to really understand is Bitcoin, right? Like make sure you really understand Bitcoin, understand the value proposition. Start there. Yeah, once you really understand Bitcoin, the most exciting next space is really DeFi. That's where, you know, I think most of the growth is going to happen, and that's where most of the exciting products with real traction and adoption are happening, right? So that includes things like stable coins, yield, trading, you know, AMMs, things like that. And there's a lot more DeFi products obviously that are going to come out. And then just, you know, be conservative, you know, just you know, don't use leverage, and you know, just take it easy, survive. You know, I can say that as like, since, you know, I've gone through like 3-4 cycles, but the most important thing is that you survive, and you know, you have like a solid portfolio construction that you just stick to, and you know, you just ride the waves.
Okay, that's a perfect advice. Well, I think we get to the end. Thanks a lot, Martin, for coming. It was really great.
For sure. Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. You know, awesome questions. Like I think we covered like 30-40 questions, which is really, really exciting. And you know, just focused on really the right stuff, and great show, and also excited to you know, speak to the French people. So merci beaucoup.
Avec plaisir. Maybe we see you another time.
For sure. We'd love to come back.
See you, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you.
Cheers. Thank you.